What's up, guys? Back for another one. I'm just out for a walk again. I wouldn't be making a video unless I was out for a walk, I guess. But yeah, today I want to talk about the importance, or the value, actually, the value of humility. And just my thoughts, or I don't even know specifically what I'm going to talk about, but just I've been just thinking about the benefits of humility in my life, and how it kind of allows me to get through hard times. Do you know what I mean? Or allows me to stay sane through insanity. Through kind of insanity going on around me, or whatever. Like I said, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I'll probably just ramble for a bit. Hopefully it makes some sense. If it doesn't, then dislike the video, I guess. But yeah, so I first came into contact with humility through its definition as said by AA, and their definition is, it's kind of like an unempowering version of humility, where you're just below things. Like they're just put yourself below things. That's all you got to do, and then you have humility. And there's quite a few problems with that idea, and I'm doing a blanket statement. I'm gonna list in, I can't say right now in detail what AA's version of humility is, to be honest. I probably could have 5 years ago, but it's kind of evolved and changed, just like many things have. It was a great foundation. I'm not talking anything bad about AA. And I think everybody goes through that. They start with the fundamentals of AA, and then they evolve it kind of for themselves. And so that's just what I've done. That I just want to talk about that evolution, I guess, and where it's. I want to talk about where it's beneficial, but I'm just gonna wait until that thought comes to mind. But I'm not just gonna sit here and bullshit or whatever. But yeah, and so since the AA thing, it's evolved for me in the way of I think there's a couple types of humility, maybe, because just like other things, like there's humility between yourself and other people, and there's humility between yourself and the world, let's say, like the non-people aspect of the world. And there's humility in respect to possessions. There's humility in respect to many different things. But I think the two main ones are, and I like to categorize them differently, because to have one set of rules to apply as a blanket statement to all situations is not wise, I don't think, because you're just going to miss things, and that's just how everything works. If you paint anything with a broad brush, you're gonna hit things that you don't want to hit, and you're going to miss things that you wanted to hit. So that's why compartmentalizing it is an efficient way of kind of setting rules for, not setting rules, but just setting an outlook, or an ongoing view of what you see as humility. And as far as people goes, for me right now, what I was thinking coming into this is, and it's not really, it's like a stupid joke, but I've heard it a million times, like, oh, how can I, I can't say that I'm the master of humility, because it's kind of what's that word? It cancels itself out or whatever. What the fuck is that word? I can't remember. I'll think of it, but yeah. So, humility with other people. I think this is something I've struggled with, and like it's been pointed out that I struggle with it, and I agree. I can kind of get ahead of myself, like I just start to have a biased, start to see myself in relation to other people through a biased lens. You know what I mean? And so everything going through that lens gets tweaked a little bit to boost my ego. You know what I mean? I have the tendency of doing that. And I'm glad that I know that I have the tendency of doing that now, because I can watch for it, and it really forces me to be pretty disciplined in the way that I deal with people. Just in the way of not misrepresenting myself and giving and being kind, and you know what I mean, and just all that. So that's kind of that. Like, the thing with humility is I think you only understand humility when you've tried and failed at making yourself feel better about yourself. I'm pretty sure that's the fucking basis of humility. Honestly, once you've tried things that you thought were good, or like tested out a thought, or tested out like an idea, like, oh, I'm the best at this, and it's like you go and do it and you're like, no, I'm not the best at that. You know what I mean? That's humility. That's where it's like, okay, reality has come down on my fucking self-promotion parade, and I need to take a couple steps back or whatever. You know what I mean? That's like the feeling that I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about when you're embarrassed or if you lose. If you try hard and you lose. No. Humility is kind of based on the outlook you have on yourself, and the change in outlook that happens when you are wrong about something, I guess. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. And I guess that leads me into what leads people into being wrong about things or themselves. And for me, and I think for a lot of people, like, it's just bias. It's just you see the world through a different lens, and you see the world through kind of a self-created, a curated lens. You know what I mean? And that's why people feel uncomfortable talking about certain things, or looking at certain things, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just certain, and I think what that comes down to is it's like social taboos. Like, the social taboos have been created to foster everyone's ego. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't want to be rude. You need to smile at everyone. You don't want to crush anyone's ego because they're so fragile. And that shit is fucking bullshit. And that is one of the leading causes of retarded, so on the right, and to talk a little bit about politics in this, on the right and the left, it's just kind of an explanation that comes to mind, but on the right and the left there's these extreme kind of groups of, like the PC outrage group on the left, where like third wave feminists, where it's like, if you like a fucking, they're outraged over a video game's character having too large of breasts, and they're like, oh, you're just sexualizing her. And then when they make her breasts small, which they did in one game, I don't really keep up with it, but I used to be into video games, but anyway, so they make the breasts smaller, and then they outrage again that now you're masculinating the character, and that shit is just like, you just like, it's just crazy. It's like, I don't even know what to say about that. It's like, you're just wasting so much energy, like so much energy. And I admit, like, I get into things and I like outraging on things, and it's all good for people to do that, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And that doesn't mean anyone else has to agree with me either. But I guess we all have our perspectives, and we all have our perspectives on other people's perspectives, so that's all good. But yeah, and then, so that's the left, and like, it's like super annoying. It really is. Like, it does feminism injustice. Like the original, like, you know, just you know, like real feminists, like where if they're trying to fucking bring aid to women in parts of the world that don't have as much or don't have the opportunity that men do, like that kind of thing I'm all about. And you know what I mean, let's because women are people. I love women, and it's all good, so let's help them all out. I don't care. I'm not trying to, like, I don't know, this and then also this male idea on the right where it's like, I'm a man and I can do whatever the fuck I want, and if you say anything, I'll shoot you. And like this, like, macho, like, so insecure, like it's just literally insecurity dripping off of them, these fucking macho right dudes, where they're like, they need to, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, so on the right, what it is like gun rights, and I don't even know what it is on the right. They're just PC outrage, like, oh my god, you need to, like, family values, and you need to be respectful to your elders, and you need to, you know what I mean, like that kind of shit is it's not really in reality on the right as well. And I'm missing some things on the right. I don't really pay attention to them that much, because they just, like, when you get into some fringes of like Alex Jones type shit, like it just goes, like, that guy, like that, like that's just like, why hasn't somebody just taken in some way a look at that and just been like, this guy, like, for these reasons scientifically are just pandering to the lowest common denominator of society, and he's just figured out a formula to manipulate them using their fear, and people fucking eat that shit up, and it's retarded. Yeah, and so how humility plays into that is the question. So the way that I view it, or the way that I see it, people could see it differently or disagree or whatever, but just the way that I see it is, people develop ideas about things when they live. Oh, that's a hawk right there. I don't know if you can see it. But people, I've seen a few bald eagles around here too, which is pretty cool in the middle of the city. An endangered animal, but maybe it's not endangered anymore. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, as you go through life, you develop these preconceived notions of things, and it's like, oh, I need a specific example to make it work, but like math, or no, math is a terrible one, because it's just 1 + 1 = 2. Let's see. Okay, so let's say you live in one country, and you have, and you grow up, and you've never heard about, you live in country 1, and there's country 2 over there. And as you grow up, you've never heard anything about country 2. Country 2 has very nice people. Let's say they're very, they're just very nice people, whatever. But if you get them too drunk, then let's say they just don't handle their alcohol very well. And I know there's a group of people in the world now that is true with, but I'm not talking about them. So this is just a hypothetical thing. And so you're in country 1 though, and you've grown up, and you didn't hear anything about country 2, and then you're kind of 14, 15, you're growing up, and you hear somebody who's like a few years older than you say like, oh, fuck, do you hear about country 2? They just lose their minds when they drink alcohol. They must be weak or something. They just come to some conclusion based on a reality. You know what I mean? They just like, it must be weak. They can't handle it. I'm a man. I'm more of a man. We're stronger, so we can. You know what I mean? It's like that. And then that 14, 15-year-old, that's their first thing. So like, of the percentage of information they know about a certain country, 100% of it is their view on that they can't handle their alcohol and that it might make them weak, and whether they believe the person's conclusion about why, or about why they're unable to handle the alcohol, whether they believe that or not, that's the information that they have, and so they go through life, and the only thing that will change that is more information about that person. So that's why every time you hear anybody who's like lived with and been around different types of people, they're just not racist because they know that it's like just horse shit, you know, like it's, so and so that completely explains the racism that happens